Dianne Feinstein died.
Let's get started
So,
on
also
Dianne Feinstein, who ended her short,
Feinstein.
unfortunately too short life earlier this morning at the age of 90.
California has died. She was 90 years old. CNN's Lauren Fox is here with more. Lauren, what do we know at this point?
Yeah, we are still getting more information, Phil, but what we know right now is that Senator Dianne Feinstein, the longest serving woman in the U.S. Senate, she has passed away. Obviously,
90 is actually pretty good.
we are still getting details and gathering information about her passing, how it occurred. We've known for a long time that Senator Feinstein has struggled with several health issues, but she has continued to serve in her capacity both as a senator and on the Senate Judiciary.
Yeah, she didn't have to. She was like almost a billionaire. Her husband is like stupid rich. Okay? She didn't have to be serving the end of her life, at the end of her life, being wheeled around. That did not have to happen. Dianne Feinstein is not like the singular charismatic force that is the only person that you can elect to that position in a state that's like a purple state or whatever. Dianne Feinstein is a California senator. Okay? Suck my fucking dick, everybody. If you have any kind of issue with the things I'm about to say, about the selfishness.
So what did she do exactly? I'm so confused.
And the audacity of these fucking cretins who have made insane amounts of money over their entirely too long careers.
She has you.
They became more hardened in their perspectives and stood in the face of progress. Okay? If you have any issues with any of that, if you look at her and you go, oh, that's a frail old lady, you're going to shit on her? How dare you? All I will tell you is suck my dick, okay? She did not have your best interest at heart. She was selfish. She was a piece of shit for staying in that position for far too long. And there are plenty of examples of her demonstrating how big of a piece of shit she was. But this last piece of the puzzle is the absolute worst moment because it's exactly like Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Because not only was she a piece of shit who should not have run for re-election in a fucking deep blue state like California, but also she was a piece of shit that was placed on the Judiciary Committee in the Senate. So she was a piece of shit with a big role to play. You know, we're all
still serving up to 90.
the federal court appointments are coming through. And now, just like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who also was a piece of fucking garbage, okay, in the exact same ways, as a matter of fact, in the exact same stupid ass, like, oh, look, this is actually girl boss feminism that we're doing by, like, allowing by holding on to our position of power, even though it will harm the overwhelming majority of women in the United States of America and their future. They refused to quit, and we fucked around, and we found out. Here's Ethan's take on it, which is really good. Dianne Feinstein should have stepped aside for the younger generation 2 decades ago. Instead, she pathetically claimed to power and obstructed progress. What happened to planting trees that you will never sit under? Fuck her and fuck RBG and fuck any other geriatric piece of shit that puts their own ego, self-interest, and desperate hold on power above progress. Pass the baton, and I'll honor your legacy. Until then, just retire and get the hell out of the way. Oh, this is a great one, too. This is a person who worked with Dianne Feinstein. Wait, no.
Boy.
There was another one I saw. Someone was her staffer, and they talked about her experience. Okay, they talked about like their experience as a staffer under Feinstein, and they're like, you know, it was really terrifying, and we were talking behind closed doors about how like she wasn't all there, you know what I mean? Like she wasn't entirely there, and then it ends with, this was in 2010. Yeah, this. Fondly remembering my tenure as an unpaid intern in Dianne Feinstein's office when we were like, look, I'm not a doctor, but this person doesn't seem like she's in super great shape to be 100, to be one of the 100 U.S. senators. Anyway, this was in 2010. It's so fucking insane. It's a criticism of RBG identical to Dianne Feinstein. She did not step down when she had like cancer 100 times, okay? Ruth Bader Ginsburg was supposed to step down under the Obama presidency, okay? Under the Obama administration. There were calls for her to step down. And literally at the time, every single dumb bitch
Yes, they never retire, but why?
out there said, you are not a girl boss. Ruth Bader Ginsburg is. She's the best fucking girl boss you've ever seen. How dare you fucking tell her to step down? She can have ass cancer 100 more times and we don't care. Okay? And then what happened? She officiated a maskless wedding after getting like every type of cancer known to man. She officiated a fucking maskless wedding in the middle of COVID and then died like immediately after. So, you know, like 2 weeks after her chemo. Yeah, exactly. She went and officiated a fucking maskless wedding and then fucking died. Okay? That's what happened to Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And guess what happened when she fucking died? Donald Trump was the president. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah. These girl bosses dying doing what they fucking love. Okay? Holy moly. Politicians are not your favorite athletes for you to root on TV. They're stewards of power who are responsible for representing real people. And when they exercise that power carelessly, that's as much a part of their legacy as anything they did in office, sometimes even more so. Exactly. Confirming Biden's judicial nominees has to be Senate Democrats' top priority between now and the 2024 election. Feinstein's death will make it a lot harder for them to do so. I don't like this any more than you do, but here we are. That's precisely the fucking problem, by the way. Yeah, if you want to know what happens when you fucking don't leave office or don't leave your lifetime appointment, for example, and basically if you're a fucking blue senator from California, it's fundamentally the same thing. It's like a lifetime appointment. Literally, you die on the fucking seat. Dianne Feinstein technically voted yesterday. I want you to understand. Dianne Feinstein and the Senate Judiciary Committee had appointments yesterday, okay? And then she died. So for the last couple of months, they've just been making her press buttons like Weekend at fucking Bernie style. And for the record, they had to do that. They had to do that because she fucking selfishly ran again, and then her brain turned into fucking mush. Yeah, she said they took her back to her fucking DC home, and she died, okay? And now, we're fucked. Very frustrating. But this is what happens with RBG dying in the same way. One of the best, one of the worst turning points in contemporary American history, for the record. Like, this is when it was, like, solidified. Permanent supermajority. And it was like absolutely solidified that like the American trajectory was going to change. Civil liberties were going to be clamped down even harder. Not that like the Supreme Court was protecting any civil liberties at all, especially as it pertains to workers' rights, obviously. But like, you know, it was just this moment right here is a pivotal fucking moment in United States history, contemporary history.
Just died? Wow. I didn't know that. You're telling me now for the first time. She led an amazing life. What else can you say?
Why the music though?
She was an amazing woman.
Like, look at his fucking stupid face, like where he's just so elated. Like the best, he has the, wow, you've given me the best news face, okay? Why, in his mind, he's thinking, what have I done to deserve this much good grace?
I'm actually saddened to hear that. I am saddened to hear that. Thank you very much.
It's a perfect clip. It's a perfect synopsis, a snapshot of like American societal failure in display. Before they were murdered, Harvey Milk and Mayor Mascone were working on sweeping tenants' rights ordinances across San Francisco that could have had lasting effects. Dianne Feinstein was about to resign from politics. Then she found Harvey's body and everything changed. History's crazy. I was just doing some research this afternoon for this book on Oakland PD and came across a lovely mention of Dianne Feinstein firing the San Francisco Police Department Charles Gain, ex-OPD chief, because he refused to let the San Francisco Police Department crack gay skulls after Harvey Milk's assassination. Mr. Gain's police career, which began in Oakland in 1946, ran around in May after he was severely criticized for refusing to allow the police to attack rioting homosexuals. The rioters were protesting what they regarded as a lenient manslaughter verdict against Dan White, the killer of Mayor George R. Moscone, and Supervisor Harvey Milk, the first avowed homosexual to hold public office here. She put up a Confederate flag alongside a bunch of other flags where the Spartacist communists were routinely doing demonstrations to take the Confederate flag down. That part is also real. But, you know, if you go to PolitiFact, they'll try to, like, hand wave that away. You predict this about Dianne Feinstein? I did.
Minutes ago,
someone asked if Dianne Feinstein dies before Grand Theft Auto 6, and the answer is yes.
And actually, Eric, I wanted to start with you.
What did you guys key search Dianne Feinstein? Man, I made a lot of fucking Dianne Feinstein death predictions, but, like, it's not even that good.
You were involved with every single God of War, including 2018's God of War. Is that correct?
I think I'm 100% certain.
You saw just a few minutes.
I mean, I've said a lot about Dianne Feinstein dying. The most prescient one is obviously the here it is. I posted this on my Twitter. Did you know Dianne Feinstein is running for re-election in 2024? I heard about that. It's a fucking meme. I don't think
she's 90, so
Feinstein makes it to 2024. I think she will die before that. Like, she's way too fucking old. I'm sorry. Anyway, Dianne Feinstein, in a similar category to fucking Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Sure, Dianne Feinstein believed in mass surveillance, was involved in illegal stock trading, and refused to retire even though she couldn't remember where she was. But let's not forget, she also single-handedly screwed up the Night Stalker search. It's called Priorities, people. Yeah, that is one of my favorite Feinstein moments. There is at least one good thing that Dianne Feinstein did do that I thought was, the right thing to do, for the record. Another one of your Feinstein bangers edited by Little Bear.
The health of California Senator Dianne Feinstein, the 89-year-old Democrat, recently returned to Capitol Hill in 3-month absence due to a bout of shingles. Her office confirmed
I mean, look at the condition.
that she's dealing with some serious complications.
What do you mean? She looks perfectly fine. Nothing to worry about. Look at this, dude. It's so fucked.
Okay, now this is kind of weird right now.
There's nothing to worry about? What are you guys talking about? What the fuck? You just hate to see a sexy ass woman have it all? I'm going to hell. How about the people that are propping her up with a fucking stick behind her back? What about the people that are like, no, dude, don't say anything is wrong. There's literally nothing wrong with this. Everything is fine. Seeing her in this video made me realize how old she was because she looks old here.
Both Mayor Moscone and Supervisor Harvey Milk have been shot and killed.
Yeah, bro, that's how old she
I
is.
mean, it's not at all in this one.
I mean, Dianne Feinstein, isn't there like we can look at the list of things that Dianne Feinstein is like older than. Like she saw the invention of like chocolate chip cookies or some shit, right? Like toast, white bread. Like sliced toasted bread. Like she was there when sliced bread was invented, dog. Do you understand? She's older than the fucking Golden Gate Bridge. It's not a joke. Like this is a very real thing. She was there when they discovered water. Yeah, she was, bro, she was there when they discovered fire. They were like, wow, that's crazy. Oh, here it is. Yeah, it's not even a joke. 4 U.S. senators are literally older than chocolate chip cookies. The chocolate chip cookie was invented in 1938, okay? One of the greatest inventions of all time. Alaska, Hawaii statehood. I mean, those are not that, I mean, I guess that's like still relatively new, newer than Dianne Feinstein, so there's that. Dianne Feinstein is 3 years younger than the invention of sliced bread and Scotch tape, the same age as FM radio, 2 years older than canned beer, nylon, and radar, 4 years older than the jet engine and photocopier, 5 years older than the LSD and ballpoint pens, 6 years older than helicopters. I made the same post about Chuck Grassley last year, and a bunch of right-wingers tried to pull a gotcha by saying he's 3 months younger than her, and I was like, no, you misunderstood. I do not think that anyone that age should be in office. Helicopters. She was there when they invented chocolate cookies.
Yeah, actually obsessed with this.
Yeah, like chocolate chip cookies were invented after Dianne Feinstein, man. You can't, like, can you imagine? What the fuck were they eating beforehand? You know what I mean?
Things invented after Dianne Feinstein was born. If you close one eye and then squint the other one and rock back and forth, she doesn't look a day over 89. Dianne Feinstein is older than the San Francisco 49ers, the atomic bomb, the ballpoint pen. She's 5 years older than the ability to photocopy. She's older than the creation of Spider-Man. Matter of fact, she's older than the creation of Marvel Comics as a whole by about 6 years. So take every one of your favorite Marvel superheroes, and she's older than all of them grouped together.
Okay.
Smells like chocolate chip cookies. Really put it into perspective. Dianne Feinstein's parents were doing the before World War II even started. Oh yeah, she's older than the Harry Truman administration. And remember guys, these videos are not an endorsement of any party, not an endorsement of a political candidate. Rather, an endorsement of the idea that we need term limits.
Yeah, it's pretty fire. I mean, she did a lot of good. She did a lot of bad.
Richard Bradley never thought
Richard Bradley, fucking communist hero, communist legend. Who's Richard Bradley? The man who took Dianne Feinstein speaks out 37 years later. Yeah, I don't feel like my policy on this shit is always, what is your legacy? What did you do? Why did you do it? And I don't immediately go to glaze mode in the same way that like a lot of the mainstream media does, right? Because whenever someone dies, they're like, oh my God, we got to preserve their legacy and like act like they were wonderful, you know? And in most cases, if you're talking about a politician, there are very few politicians that deserve that kind of legacy preservation. Okay?
Name one.
And oftentimes the ones that do deserve that kind of legacy preservation don't get it. They're routinely hailed as like bloodthirsty, monstrous villains, you know, Che Guevara, Fidel Castro, and the like. Lenin! And others.
What?
And historical figures that don't deserve that kind of legacy preservation get it, especially in the United States of America, right? I'm, of course, talking about, for example, George H.W. Bush, a gigantic piece of shit, a monstrous person in general, both in the CIA and also as president, doing a fuck ton of war crimes.
Yeah, so give example on one good politician.
And Ronald Reagan is another great example. These are all
I don't think he
awful,
can.
psychopathic weirdos, losers, and yet they get wall-to-wall glazed up coverage. Now, obviously, Dianne Feinstein is not to the same degree. Like, she's not as big as and as disastrous as a fucking monster that Ronald Reagan was, but she still wasn't great. So, no, I'm not going to do the regular fucking classic coverage of like, well, this person is wonderful. She did a lot of good things. I will talk about some of the good things that she did because there are moments where she got things right, okay? I will admit that. But the reality is that overall, she was a institutionalist who was a force to be reckoned with in the Democratic machine in California, much like Nancy Pelosi, who was also running for re-election. Remember, Nancy Pelosi stated like a month ago that she's running for re-election, okay? You should not do that. Stop doing that. Not to say that like the younger version of Nancy Pelosi, Hakeem Jeffries, is going to be any better, but you know, just what the fuck are you doing? Like, get someone else to take up the fucking, to take up that role, to take up that position, and actually push the party forward. This is a progressive safe haven. Put, like, actual fucking progressives in charge. Jesus Christ. Oh, I hate it. Anyway, but yeah, let's hear how the media is covering the Dianne Feinstein death. Dianne Feinstein and all the times that I've correctly predicted that she will die any moment now.
Judiciary Committee, where her vote has been essential to moving forward with the Biden administration's judicial nominees over the last several years and last several months in particular. Senator Dianne Feinstein has a long legislative history and record, including the fact that she was the architect of the 1994 assault weapons ban. Fighting gun violence has been a key issue for Senator Feinstein over the course of her career.
This part is correct and is like a big dub for Dianne, okay? That is actually a very good dub, a very big dub for Dianne Feinstein. As much as I love, as much as I personally am a assault weapons enjoyer and one who has shot many, and fuck is it? Hold on. I'll go bring mine in honor of Dianne right now. But this was good. This was smart. Of course, it expired, and then I think that's probably one of the first moments, like in the lead up to the assault weapons ban, was one of the first moments that the gun manufacturers realized, oh my God, we can make so much fucking money by acting like these guns will never be released to market.
Career. She was also the first woman to serve as the chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, and she fought even against her Democratic colleagues to release details of the enhanced interrogation techniques that were used under the Bush administration, going toe-to-toe with the Obama administration in trying to get the public more informed about what had occurred during those years in the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. So obviously, she is someone who has a long legislative history, a long career.
That part is also good. One thing that they will never mention in the mainstream media that I actually do think Dianne Feinstein was like surprisingly and shockingly good on is anti-BDS legislation. Dianne Feinstein, alongside Bernie Sanders, were openly against all of the anti-BDS legislation that was getting passed all around the country. 100%. That is something that I will always that is something that I will always respect, because it is one of those things where there is no political appetite for it. All you're doing is expending political capital for no fucking reason whatsoever, other than the fact that you think it's gross, disgusting, and anti-First Amendment. BDS is boycott, divestment, and sanctions on the state of Israel. It is a peaceful way to try and organize and protest against the apartheid state of Israel, and it is illegal to be a supporter of it in 35 states. It is a complete and utter failure. It is directly in violation of the First Amendment, and yet it gets no coverage whatsoever. And it's just like a given that we have a foreign nation, and its lobbyists, its interest groups, perfectly tailor, like craft legislation that goes against the First Amendment. Okay, in a clear-cut violation of the First Amendment. It's insane. So, something to remember. So she copied Bernie's homework. That's not a W. You're crazy if you think that, like, as a sitting politician, it doesn't actually demonstrate courage and moral conviction on one of these issues, at least. Sorry. There are a couple things that I will automatically give you props for, and that is,
This chart's actually done brain dead.
one, if you stand in solidarity with Palestinians, or at the very least, like, openly put your fucking name out there in as a sitting politician that says, no, these kinds of laws are fucking completely unjustifiable. It is way too far. That's definitely praise that Dianne Feinstein deserved. Okay?
You should probably celebrate other people's death though. This kind of weird. Yeah, I'm sure the pronounces with that.